A very warm welcome back to TED Talks and Bowen's Garage. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Now today you join me for a bit of a tale of woe. I feel a bit sorry for myself with this one, so I thought I would broadcast it to the nation to make myself feel even worse about it. So today we have got a car on the ramp, and you may have seen it in some of the weeklies and whatever, that has caused us a real headache and a really, really expensive bill, or it's going to be. So for those of you who are new here, you're most welcome. I'm Theo, Ted, and this is our little garage in Ross-on-Wye, and I show you all the daily goings-on. I do review videos of cars that I find interesting that we take into stock, tales of the workshop, tales of part exchange drama, all that stuff, and loads of good stuff in between as well. I also do a weekly roundup. So if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that really good stuff. And if you do watch all the videos, which I know quite a lot of you do, welcome back. This is a little story for you. It's going to be, well, not a two-parter, but it's going to be today, now, and then the video will be wrapped up when the car is fixed, hopefully next week. So I suppose we better have a, I mean, you've seen the car in the thumbnail, but we better have a look and I'll talk you through why I was a very silly boy. So here we have it. It's a 2018 on a 68 plate, Mitsubishi Outlander, 2-litre petrol, 4-wheel drive, automatic. Lots of these were plug-in hybrids. I on purposely didn't buy one that was a plug-in hybrid because I didn't want one. And I saw this and I thought 2-litre petrol, 7-seater, 4-wheel drive, Japanese, loads of spec, loads of service history. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as it turns out, I made a balls up, and probably one of the biggest buying balls ups I've made in a good number of years. And bearing in mind I'm buying 300, 350, last year nearly 400 cars. It takes quite a lot to be one of the worst decisions you've made, and this has turned out to be one of them. So, as you can see, lots of parts have been stripped down, and the reason being, including the prop there as you can see, there is an enormous hole where the gearbox should be, and there is also a transfer box which should be here as well. So the car turned up from one of our trade sources, and when we put it into gear, into drive, it took 4 or 5 seconds for it to do anything, and then it would jump into drive and away you go, and actually seemed okay out on the road. And then when you came back or you tried to reverse it again, you'd put the car into reverse, you'd press the accelerator or the throttle, and it would just rev and rev and rev for about 5 or 6 seconds, and then it would decide to take some action. And I didn't drive it initially, but the guys said to me, well, I think you should have a drive of this, Theo. I don't think it's quite right. It's okay when you're out on the road, but we're not sure it's the correct, well, we're not sure it's performing correctly. I thought, I'm sure it's just the boys, they haven't driven an auto like this before. It's a CVT, blah, blah, blah. And even when I said CVT, I thought, well, that's all right. I've had loads of Honda CVTs, loads of Toyota CVTs. This is Japanese. I'm sure it'll be fine. I was wrong. So I drove it, and I agreed with them. It wasn't right. So next step, take the gearbox out. Now, we normally send our automatic gearboxes over to a place in Gloucester. I rang them, and this is where the bad news sort of started, because I gave them the registration number, gave them the car, and they said, we don't do those, sir. I said, oh dear, why? They said, well, you know the Nissan Qashqais and the Nissan Dukes with the CVT gearbox, which, by the way, if you haven't read up on those, is one of the worst automatic gearboxes in all of human history for reliability. I said, yeah. They said, well, it's one of those, but with some different bits on it, which we can't get hold of. instantly, that sounded very expensive. So basically what I've done is I bought a Mitsubishi, which I thought had a Honda Toyota CVT box, which are fine. And what I've actually done is bought one with a Nissan CVT box, or Nissan-derived CVT box, which has got some different bits on it, which is A, extremely unreliable, B, extremely expensive to repair, and C, parts very difficult to get hold of. So I rang Found Hope Mitsubishi, who are a local, they're KGM now, but they're still service centres for Mitsubishi. Nothing they can do. They said, we wouldn't touch it. You're like, well, Christ, if the main dealer won't touch it, then what on earth do you do? They said, send it to Bristol Transmissions. So, on the ramp, Gary, many amounts of swearing. It's a big, big gearbox as well. I'll try and show you before it goes back in. So that's got sent off down to Bristol Transmissions, along with the transfer box, because when we were driving it, we think it had a whine from the back. And it has now been with them for, well, it'll be 2 weeks. It's been there, as I'm recording this now, it's been there for 2 weeks, and it's due back the mid part of next week. So they called us today and said the bearings in the gearbox are absolutely shot to pieces, and then they've repaired them, and now they're working on the transfer box, and it should come back next week. So there's a few different issues here. I was very careless for assuming that it was a different type of gearbox to the one it actually was, because the truth of the matter is we've been burnt on the Qashqai automatics before. Never again. It's years since I bought a Qashqai or a Duke automatic. I won't, because I think the last one cost us about £3,000, and that's going back probably 7 or 8 years. So I wouldn't have bought the car in the first place. It has now clogged up our ramp here for currently 2 weeks, and it's going to be there for another week or so by the time the gearbox comes back and we've refitted it. And it's going to be bloody expensive. I'll show you the bill when it comes back, but any profit that we did have in this has been absolutely wiped out and more. So I've got a car that's been stuck here for 2 weeks, and the mechanics have been getting a bit cheesed off, especially, I mean, Gary says this is his ramp. He's been having to go on the 4-poster, which is a pain when you're doing brakes and tyres and so on. So they've been grumpy at me. I'm grumpy because I made a cock-up. We've got a car which, to be honest, if it had been okay, I think would have probably sold pretty bloody quickly. It's like 13 grand's worth of car, which we've got stuck in the air in November with Christmas coming. It's a 4-wheel drive 7-seater. You'd want to get this out the door before Christmas, definitely. So there's a multitude of errors there, and it's going to be an expensive error. We're making a loss before we've even begun with this, so I think it's going to need a few other bits, pads and discs and so on, according to Gary. So it's not all joy and happiness in the motor trade always. I love buying, that's what I do. It's my favourite part of the job. I do pretty much all the buying, but it annoys me. I'm probably harsh on myself, but if I make a cock-up like that, and you get that sudden... Even when I said CVT to the guys, I was like, didn't even cross my mind that I'd bought a Qashqai gearbox, basically. Wah, wah, wah. On the plus side, whoever buys the car, and it will definitely sell, whoever buys the car will have 12 months warranty on the gearbox and the transfer box. So that's good news. And the car has done 64,000 miles, and it was still perfectly drivable. It was just hesitant in driving reverse. So if you think now you're going to have 12 months warranty on the gearbox and the transfer box, it should be good. They rebuild them better than when they failed the first time. So you should have another 60, 70,000 miles with absolutely no problems. So for the customer, whoever buys this, happy bloody days. For me, it's beans on toast for Christmas. So continued the saga of the Mitsubishi. We're getting there now. We are getting there. So today, bearing in mind it's now been up there for 3 weeks, we now have a fully refurbished and gleaming looking gearbox and a transfer box which allegedly didn't have anything going on with it, so hopefully when it all goes back together it's all going to be good. It's a fair old lump. Bristol Transmissions, they picked it up, they dropped it back, they are very busy, so the turnaround, it was a couple of weeks, which is what they said before we agreed to crack on. So the bill with the VAT, £3,840. Obviously we get the VAT back, so it's 3,300 quid or something like that, which is an awful lot of money, and obviously entirely wipes out any profit that we had in the Mitsubishi by quite a lot. But one of those things, there's always ways to get that back potentially in the deal, which is why quite often we'd rather fix a car and still retail it. I think it's going to be a really nice car. Condition wise it's very good, service history is very good, spec is very good, so we might sell the car on finance, which would help. We might sell a warranty, we might take in a really good part exchange that we can carry on with. Obviously it could be completely the opposite and we'll sell it to a cash buyer who doesn't want anything else on top and no part exchange. It is what it is, but they might bring it back next year for servicing, MOTs, all that sort of thing. I think sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. So it's back. We've now just got to find time to get the bloody thing back in the workshop. So I will round this video off once we're all up and running, driving. I hope I hope we haven't just had a box refurbished for no reason. That would be, I would not be so amused. But yeah, we will reconvene as and when, I hope, and I think the car will be back up and running. See you shortly. Right, you join me to finish off a video that has been in creation for some time. And when I say some time, I mean nearly 3 months. I am sat in a Mitsubishi Outlander. A fixed one, an operational one, and actually one that we've taken a reservation on. What a palaver this has been. Unbelievable, really. I shouldn't be so chipper. I'm just glad that it's done. The car now drives absolutely perfectly. Gearbox is done. Transfer box is done. But I thought I'd round up the video by just saying how much the car now owes us and how much we've spent on it, and that it's not always fun and games to be a car dealer. Lots of people think that we make huge amounts of money on every car. We buy them, we wash them, we chuck them out. That is not how it happens. If that's how it was happening, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be grey, and after doing this for 14 years, I would have my feet up somewhere in the Caribbean where the weather is always most charming, sipping rum, and genuinely enjoying myself. But I'm sat in a Mitsubishi Outlander in Ross on Wye, and that is because it's not the easiest job in the world, this. Problems do arise often, frequently, and they're often expensive as well. But the car is now perfect. It's fully prepped. Apart from an MOT now, we've done everything. It's had front pads and discs, it's had a service, gearbox is done, transfer box is done. We've taken a reservation on the car at £13,500. They're just confirming finance and whatever. So, and the car sold, or the car has been reserved very quickly after going live, as I thought it would. But the date is the 4th of February. Now, obviously, the last part of this video was before Christmas, so you can see that it's taken some time. Now, that wasn't just because of the repair. So the repair was done, but the workshop has been so busy since Christmas, not just for sales cars, but our usual workshop retail customers, that we just couldn't get round to having the time for Gary to spend a day putting it back together, or a day and a bit putting it back together, basically, and finishing off all the other bits. So we've got there now, it's done, we advertised it properly, it drives perfectly, and it's been reserved. So hopefully this will be the end of this saga. But I just wanted to explain to you what the car owes, because I'm sure this is YouTube. People like the doom and the gloom and the despair. So we've taken a reservation on the car at £13,500. The car now owes us, fully prepped and ready to go. There were a couple of other bits, parcel shelf, usual stuff. The car now owes us £16,846.52. So we've lost £3,346.52 currently, with an MOT to come. So we basically lost £3,400 on this deal. And that is assuming that the car doesn't come back on warranty and there's no issues heading forward. Now, obviously, the gearbox and the transfer box, you've got a 12-month warranty from when the work was done. So there's still 10.5 months left on that. So that should be absolutely fine. The rest of the car is lovely. It's really nice. 7-seater, very clean, massive specification, drives perfectly, 4-wheel drive, heated everything. It's a really, really nice car. So I'm not surprised it's been snapped up. 7 seats, obviously. But I just wanted to finish this video because I'd never get around to it otherwise. And I just wanted to let you guys know that not every deal is a successful deal. Sometimes it's a case of just plugging on with it, getting the job done, getting the car right, selling it, moving on. It was a massive job, and obviously a word of warning for this gearbox. I think if you're gonna go for one of these, and now obviously the car's done 65,000 miles. The car should be perfect for another 65,000 miles. In fact, I'm told that when they rebuild the gearboxes on these CVTs, they actually build them back together better than they were originally. So, this car should be good for 150,000 now. Engine-wise, it'll be absolutely bulletproof, touch wood. So there we are. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's taken, you won't know because you're just seeing this for the first time, but 3.5 months, basically. But we're here. And hopefully the car is sold very quickly after being fully advertised and we can just all move on with our lives. If you've enjoyed this saga, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the video, give it a hype or whatever. And thanks for watching. We shall see you again very soon. Take care.